Chapter 330, Treasure Mountain. This chapter is updated by novels.pl. Zhang Yuochen put the dragon horn in his palm and mused, saying, "The four-winged earth dragon refined its dragon horn into a key, so it must lock up some kind of treasure. Is there anything more important than the dragon Sareera?" Ziqian nodded and said, "Right, I think so." So, even if Di Yi entered into the Divine Dragon Temple, without the dragon horn, he couldn't get the dragon Sareera. In that case, we don't have to confront him. Besides, the dragon Sareera is not necessarily located in the Divine Dragon Temple. At that time, a faint light emerged on the dragon horn, and then, the light twinkled and light spots flew out. Zhang Yuochen and Ziqian were bewildered, both saying, "Huh?" at almost the same time. What happened? Does the dragon horn feel something? Ziqian stared at the horn as her pupils constantly dilated. A moment later, the dragon horn twinkled again and the light became stronger. Zhang Yuochen mused and said, "If we go after the light of the dragon horn, maybe we could find something. But, we should wait for my friends." After a while, Six Sinkong, Shang Kiki, Huang Yanchen, Duan Mook Singerling, Chen Xia, and Guogo passed through the black fog and caught up with them. After seeing that Zhang Yuochen was still waiting for them, they were all touched. All of them knew that Zhang Yuochen had a dragon horn that could open an important treasure in the Dragon Palace. They had originally thought that the reason that Zhang Yuochen had stolen a march on them was that he wanted to keep the treasure for himself. But now, they realized that Zhang Yuochen had actually paved the way for them and helped them to eliminate risks rather than having abandoned them. Shang Kiki sighed and said, "I'm so ashamed. I just told them that you had surely gone for the treasure and certainly left us behind." Zhang Yuochen smiled and said, "Now that the six of us have come here together, naturally we'll find the treasure together. Only when all of us go back with fruitful results can this exploration be regarded as a success." U.P. dated by Box Novel. Shang Kiki felt even more abashed and gave himself a hard slap, leaving a handprint on his face. Meanwhile, he bowed to Zhang Yuochen 3 times in great admiration of him. Before today, he had only admired Six Sinkong, but now Zhang Yuochen had also become someone that he worshipped. Shang Kiki used to see Zhang Yuochen as a good friend. Now, he regarded him as a brother who could go through thick and thin together. Just a word from Zhang Yuochen could send Shang Kiki to undergo the most severe trials without any refusal. When Chen Xia saw Ziqian standing beside Zhang Yuochen, she immediately pulled out a double-edged sword and stabbed at her. Chen Xia's cultivation had broken through to the heaven realm, and with more power, the speed of her sword was as quick as lightning. In a flash, it touched between Ziqian's eyebrows. Zhang Yuochen attacked with a palm and made her sword turn in another direction. At the same time, he stood in front of Ziqian. The light from the sword became brighter. With the same homicidal intention, Chen Xia said, "Zhang Yuochen, she is a killer of the black market. Why do you protect her?" Zhang Yuochen said, "I know where she's from. But it was she who found the dragon horn in the Qigong secret mansion. I promised that I would take her to find the treasure." Chen Xia frowned and gazed at Huang Yanchen, Six Sinkong, and Shang Kiki. She asked them, "Do you agree that a killer of the black market should come with us?" Shang Kiki said, "I believe in junior fellow apprentice Zhang, and I support him." Although Huang Yanchen disliked Ziqian, she still said, "The dragon horn was indeed found by Ziqian." "But she's from the black market," Chen Xia said. Zhang Yuochen said to confirm, "It's been decided. Anyone who disagrees with that can withdraw." Senior Sister Apprentice Chen, "If you think that I'm colluding with the black market, you can report it to the Palace Master." Chen Xia stared at Zhang Yuochen's eyes and felt an unprecedented overwhelming vigor from him that made her put her head down and her legs shiver. She did not dare to look directly at Zhang Yuochen again. Finally, she compromised because all of the people looked at Zhang Yuochen as their leader. Nobody would stand on her side even if she strongly opposed. These were true friends that shared joy and sorrow together. Even though they knew there was something inappropriate in Zhang Yuochen's actions, they still supported him and stood by him without hesitation. If it were in the past, Seek Sinkong and Chankiki would have definitely drawn their swords against Zikiane once they learned her identity, and there would have been no room for negotiation. Let's go. Zhang Yuochen glanced at Zikiane. He grabbed the dragon horn and rapidly walked toward the northwest corner of the Dragon Palace according to the guidance of the dragon horn. There were many killing arrays arranged in the Dragon Palace. Any carelessness would make those killing arrays a road to death. Zhang Yuochen knew something about the arrays. So when they met with any killing arrays, they immediately took a detour. About half an hour later, the 7 of them arrived below an underwater hill. The light from the dragon horn became stronger and stronger, and it even began to shake slightly. If they put it near their ears, they would have even heard a deep dragon howl. It should be the Zhang Yuochen stopped and faced that underwater hill. The hill, reaching a height of 800 meters, was filled with dark stones and clay. Many spiritual doses were growing on the hill and they exuded a colorful light that gave one the impression of jewelry. Oh my god! It is an underwater Teja mountain. Look at the crimson coral. It is almost 333 centimeters high. At least it is 1,000 years old. If I can refine it, I will absolutely break through 2 realms and reach the advanced stage of the heaven realm. Thrilled, Chankiki kept his rubbing hands and was ready to rush to the hill. Amazement could be seen in Zikiane's eyes. She said, "There are 14 purple chi dragon plants growing on the hill. If I get one of them, my divine purple light skill will reach the 7th stage and my cultivation will break into the heaven realm. All of those purple chi dragon plants could help me reach the 8th stage." Even one purple chi dragon plant could not be found in Omen Ridge. But here, 14 of them were growing on the hill. How could Zikiane not be excited? Zhang Yuochen stopped Zikiane and Chankiki from getting close to the hill. He said seriously, "Take it easy, look at the ground." Everyone looked at the bottom part of the hill, where the skeletons of human beings and savage beasts were piled up. Among them were some fresh skeletons, which obviously belonged to those warriors of the black market who had rushed toward the hill. It was so strange. All of them calmed down after seeing those bodies and they all had panicked expressions on their faces. Some kind of killing array must be set up in the boundary of the hill. Once someone gets close, he will be killed by it, Huang Yanqin surmised. Zhang Yuochen shook his head and said, "I just looked around and there is no inscription of array in the boundary." How can that be possible? Were those warriors and savage beasts beaten to death? Chankiki worriedly touched his chin. This is the strangest thing. How did those humans and savage beasts die? Zhang Yuochen frowned. It was so terrible for them that they could only look at the hill but they could not do anything. Chankiki had recklessly rushed toward the hill several times, but he was drawn back by Zhang Yuochen and Seek Sinkong. Maybe a martial soul can be used, Zhang Yuochen thought in his heart. Zhang Yuochen immediately sat cross-legged and secretly unleashed his martial soul. He made it cautiously get closer to the hill. Oh woo! The martial soul had walked forward just 10 steps. Then suddenly, a dragon's roar rang out from the interior part of the hill that almost shattered his soul. Zhang Yuochen took back the martial soul immediately. His brain was damaged and he spat out blood. What a grisly power. Zhang Yuochen's martial soul was seriously hurt and he got a severe headache. It was so lucky that he had attracted 2 cord of gods and the illusory image of gods in his chi lake helped him ward off part of that power. Otherwise, it would not have been as simple for him as just spitting out some blood. Zhang Yuochen, what happened to you? Zikiane put her palm on Zhang Yuochen's back and transferred some of her genuine chi into his body. Huang Yanqin had run over to him but Zikiane remained a step ahead. Huang Yanqin felt unhappy as she saw their apparent intimacy. She walked up and grasped Zikiane's wrist with cold eyes. She pulled her palm away from Zhang Yuochen's back and pushed Zikiane away, and said, "Your cultivation is insufficient. I'll help him." Then, Huang Yanqin sat cross-legged behind Zhang Yuochen. Her strong genuine chi flowed from her chi into her palms, and then she put her palms on Zhang Yuochen's back. Zikiane's hands clenched. She felt angry. How could Huang Yanqin be so brutal? However, she put away her anger as she thought that Huang Yanqin was Zhang Yuochen's fiancé. She is his fiancé. Who are you? Besides, Huang Yanqin had reached the heaven realm and her martial cultivation was higher than hers. So she did not dare to provoke Huang Yanqin in any case. Previously, They just saw Zhang Yuochen sitting on the ground, so they did not know that he had been unleashing his martial soul. They also did not know that Zhang Yuochen was not hurt in his body, but in his martial soul. A damaged martial soul could only be rehabilitated slowly. Any genuine chi from outside was useless. Zhang Yuochen opened his eyes after he suppressed the trauma on his martial soul. Except for some stinging pain in his head, he did not feel any discomfort. It seems that the martial soul cannot be used again within a short time. Having no martial soul meant having no spiritual chi and no space domain. So, Zhang Yuochen's power would be lessened. Although his martial soul was damaged, Zhang Yuochen still had gained a lot. He now knew how to access to the hill. Senior Sister Apprentice Huang, I'm okay, Zhang Yuochen said. After seeing Zhang Yuochen had woken up, Huang Yanqin was very happy. She drew back her palms and asked him with concern, Zhang Yuochen, what happened to you? Why did you spit up blood? Chang Kiki looked around and said in a gloomy voice, are we haunted? Zhang Yuochen stood up and said with a smile, there is no ghost in the world. I just used a secret method to search that hill. I got hurt because a strong power attacked me. Juan Mook Singerling asked, did you find anything? I have definitely found something. Zhang Yuochen stared at that high hill and his fingers constantly moved. After a while, he withdrew his hands and said with a nod, the dragon cave symbolizes life, but it is full of a dead breath. If I'm not wrong, this is not a hill at all, it is a tomb. A tomb? Who will build such a huge tomb? Chang Kiki asked. A dragon. Zhang Yuochen said again, it's the tomb of a dragon. Monday.